How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today we are talking, well, Elden Ring. I haven't really done like a proper commentary really talking about Elden Ring, and I guess now that it's been out for basically over a month, I did kind of want to give you guys my opinions, very small opinions on the PvE. I mostly want to save those opinions and like a full type of review video whenever I finish the game, and yes, I haven't finished the game yet. My main character is currently, I think, 150 hours in. About 40 of those hours have been spent doing PvP. So I easily would have finished the game if it wasn't for the PvP, but I've been really taking it slow. Like, I waited so long for this game, I definitely didn't want to completely speed through it and literally speed to the finish line, do all the main bosses. I've explored like literally every nook and cranny. At this point of recording this commentary, I am pretty much almost done with the game. I am going to probably end up finishing in the next live stream that I do over on twitch.tv/lprod_, where I live stream all this stuff. But I mean, I've been very thorough with exploration. I've gotten every single legendary weapon, every single talisman, every single legendary summon, ashes, pretty much all by myself without any type of guides, just on straight up exploring everything and being thorough. And I've been absolutely loving it. This might be honestly my favorite gaming experience that I've ever had in my life, but we'll get more into that once I finish the actual game and do like a proper video on the PvE. Today's focus will be on the PvP because I have done quite a bit of that in this game already. Not a crazy amount, like I said, like probably like 40 hours. And I really just kind of want to talk about my opinions on it so far in its current state, because I'm assuming it's supposed to change. It's definitely going to change. You know, I hope that within a couple of months this video is going to be almost outdated in some of the stuff that I talk about. But its current state, you know, the most important thing, is it fun? Is it balanced? How active is it? Is it going to die in a couple months? I want to get into all that stuff in this video today, and if there's anything specific that you guys want me to go dive deeper into, I guess, feel free to leave it in the comment section down below, and I'll think about doing more of these commentary style videos. But the PvP in its current state, is it fun? Have I been having fun with it specifically? And the answer is yes, I have actually been having fun with it at very specific times. It hasn't been incredibly fun all the time because the game is holy hell unbalanced, man. Like, whew. This might be like the least balanced on release we've ever seen one of these Souls games, or From Software game, where we go into PvP, and instantly that's going to bring up red flags. People, this is a PvE game, this is not supposed to be balanced, I want to destroy bosses with one hit. Okay, let me finish. It is understandable, and I know there's a lot of things that From Software and Bandai really have to balance out that is incredibly tough, balancing out PvE and PvP, because I would say both have a large fan base. I would particularly put a way larger fan base on the PvE side of it, especially with this game, you know, having a ginormous mainstream success. But the PvP is so unbalanced right now with invading. And again, that's going to bring the same group of people that are like, you know, if you invade me, then I have the choice of just being able to destroy. And it's not really the host that is the issue, or like weapons in particular, except for a few weapons. It's more like the game right now in PvP, especially if you want to like be successful and do really well. I'm not talking about like the occasional win or winning every other invasion. If you want to be as successful as you were in like Dark Souls 3, and you're really good at that game, winning almost every invasion, not counting gank squads, you have to go very specific on your build. This is for sure the game where skill is the least important thing when it comes to PvP, and the build takes absolute first priority. The build and the weapon that you're actually using. Now, there is a specific katana, and I don't even have to mention the name of it to already have hundreds, maybe thousands of people rolling their eyes, already knowing which weapon I'm going to be talking about. But man, right now the Rivers of Blood is basically your Lothric Knight straight sword in Dark Souls 3, but on terrible steroid crack cocaine. I think it's way beyond what that weapon ever was, and you see it's so freaking common. I think while the Lothric Knight straight sword was always pretty strong, after it was initially patched and they lowered the range of it a little bit, lessened the damage a tiny bit, I think it was in a pretty good spot where there would be weapons that would still, if you were good, you'd be able to outclass it, absolutely. But as somebody who would consider themselves pretty competent and pretty decent at Souls games and invading in general, I have an incredibly difficult time invading, especially since the invasion system in this game work completely different than the other Souls games. You're not going to be invading people by themselves unless they want to be invaded and open themselves up to invasion, or the occasional moment where you get lucky and the phantoms have already died. You're going to be invading a minimum 2 people every single time. And I'm going to be honest, almost every single invasion I've done beyond like soul level 70, there's been a minimum of 3 people every single invasion. Like, no joke. If there's 2, they're going to get a blue hunter. Or there's going to be 3, I'm going to kill 1, going to be 2 left. 50% of the time, odds are they're going to get a blue hunter. I also don't know how the invading buddy system works, but I've literally seen maybe 2 other invading buddies, which I feel like should be way more. I think I've heard a couple people say this before, but this is absolutely the game where instead of picking off everybody one by one and really wanting to get the satisfaction of killing every single person, when I go into an invasion now, I'm heading straight to try to murder that host, because it's so crazy difficult to get past these 3 phantoms, which a lot of the time, by the way, you're gonna run into who are insanely overleveled. And I would say that the way they downscale phantoms in this game is really unbalanced. I was doing invasions, and some of the invasions you guys are seeing in the background, you guys are watching me get my ass kicked a lot because I kind of want to showcase what I'm talking about. These were like soul level 25 invasions, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty sure that most people aren't supposed to have rivers of blood at soul level 25. But the amount of times that I see it, it's just people dropping it for their friends, or you see the phantoms that are incredibly overleveled, like literally 1 or 2 shotting me with the weapon. Not even talking about the weapon art, you know, just straight up R1 attacks. While their health does scale, they still have the insanely heavy armor, so you could have somebody basically spamming endgame spells, having endgame armor, endgame weapons that do a ridiculous amount of damage. It feels like the damage is literally downscaled like maybe 25%, which I think it should be way more if you're like soul level 400 and helping your soul level 10 friend out. I think it should be scaled way more. What am I saying, 25? I feel like it's way less sometimes. I've easily been one shot at that soul level many times by a phantom who has like a regular ass katana. And I think for sure that's one of the biggest like balancing issues that makes invasions right now in its current state incredibly difficult. It is that just the phantoms are doing way too much damage. And even when you're a little bit more capable of dealing out that damage, when you're higher up at like soul level, for example, 120, I've kind of been circulating basically everywhere. I did invasions at 20, I did between 30 and 50, I did around 70, and then I kind of skipped all those middle ones and went straight to like 120 where my character was. I can easily tell you that soul level 120 invasions were the worst experience that I've had in this entire game so far. Which is a shame, because that was basically what I invaded at all the time on Dark Souls 3, you know, 120 and 140. The invasions up there, you guys, oh man. If you think the endgame over-leveled phantoms are bad invading at like soul level 30, it's every single invasion at soul level 120. The amount of times that I've gotten 2-shot or like straight up spammed by over-leveled and endgame, like literally the end final boss type weapons and spells is kind of ridiculous at 120. While at the lower soul levels like 50 and 20 and those, it's only about 50% of the time, which is still very high. But right now, there's just a couple of weapons and a couple builds that just seem to have way too much power. At higher soul levels, it's definitely way more about the build than any other soul level, in my opinion, and any other soul level range. Because I feel like even at like 50, I could take like an okay weapon with a decent build and sort of be alright and win most of my invasions. If I take a okay weapon and a sort of okay build at 120, I am just gonna get obliterated by 3 people unless I take a couple of cheese things myself. For example, I took the liberty of every time that I see a moon veil or somebody straight up non-stop spamming spells, I have my little glitched out Karen Retaliation shield, and the Karen Retaliation shield is probably, or I guess Ash of War, Art of War, is probably gonna end up getting patched. But for now, I'll definitely enjoy shooting a basically 1600 damage spell back at their face if they want to go ahead and run away non-stop and literally spam one move from far away and do nothing but do that. Before, you had a couple of Ashes of War that were really good, and it does kind of seem like there are a few counters for, you know, something like a 120 Rivers of Blood that is literally going to take away 1800 health from you with one weapon art move. Most likely even now in the comments of people who haven't even made it this far and just stopped the video and started commenting and then left. You're most likely even going to see a couple people being like, Rivers of Blood isn't even hard to dodge. All you gotta do is use this and this and this. It's the easiest thing to counter. And let me just say, when your sentence start with, all you have to do is this one specific thing, and that's basically the only counter for the weapon, then it's not an easy weapon to counter. If it was easy, it would have 10 things to counter it. But hey, guess what? There's maybe 2 or 3, which makes it not easy to counter. I've tried parrying it, and I want to get the parry timing down because I know you can parry it. But again, it's one of those things where if you fuck up, you die. Okay, you have one Rivers of Blood user. Not too bad. I've ran into one dude using Rivers of Blood. All they do is spam L2. That's easy to deal with. One person. When there's 3 of them in an invasion and they're all using Rivers of Blood, all it takes is not even a mistake. You dodging sort of within the vicinity of their blood attack and you're dead because the hit's gonna stagger you and literally kill you in half a second. So that weapon, again, is one of those things that I hope in about 1 month people are going to be talking about like, what are you talking about Rivers of Blood being overpowered? That weapon's okay, but I guess it's not too bad. Because it shouldn't be nerfed into the ground. I definitely don't want it to get like, hey, the weapon art does 100 damage now for hitting the entire thing. No, absolutely not. But it also shouldn't do 1800 damage to invaders at soul level like 100. It really shouldn't be happening, let's be honest. So I feel like they need to figure out some type of good balance for that weapon. One of the big things a lot of people have suggested is basically make it so that the bleed doesn't stagger you, which I think is a good one. And speaking of bleed right now at almost every single soul level is probably, I would go as far as to say, most likely the best build. Like every other person you see for sure is going to be running some type of bleed, either the seppuku or a specific weapon art, or again Rivers of Blood, or dual weapons that are both bleed, which I guess is not a bad meta if it wasn't for the fact that bleed is just, it builds up so fast if they're using like a pretty damn good arcane stat, which after arcane was fixed, a lot of weapons kind of saw a ginormous buff. There's a couple weapons that it straight up took from like, okay, this thing is alright, not bad, to holy shit, this shit is OP. It took a lot of weapons into that territory, and it was only because of one stat change. I don't know if that was really their intention or if they're going to keep tweaking with that a little bit, but for now, bleed is really damn strong. Like Rivers of Blood with a poise build is honestly one of the scariest fucking things you could run into in an invasion. But again, I would say that it's really dependent on which soul level you're at. So I was invading with +3 somber weapons at soul level 30 for about 2 hours last night. I didn't see a single Rivers of Blood after seeing like 7 straight Rivers of Blood invading with a +1 somber weapon at soul level 20. So it's real weird how that jump went from like every other invasion to none for 2 hours. Oh, and guys, let me tell you, it was beautiful. Like I would say that when the game's like working the way it's supposed to, even if you're invading like other over-leveled people, as long as it's not like straight up fucking end game, end of the game spells and crazy shit like that, that even then it's not that bad. The only problem is when you run into the couple of culprits that are like the few weapons here and there that are ridiculously over-tuned powerful. And that's not to say that over-leveled people shouldn't play with other people if they want to have fun with other friends or anything like that. But I've also seen a big thing of people doing basically what they were doing in Gank City and Anor Londo in Dark Souls 3, where they would have the host be like a lower soul level, and then have this crazy over-leveled phantom who is obviously, you know, 100 soul levels above you and does that much damage. There's already people doing that, especially in the whole Liurnia swamp area. And that's definitely one of the things that I hope is changed the most, and that is the way the balancing works whenever you summon a really over-leveled phantom. A lot of people are doing it, and it's okay to summon people. It's not like a shitty thing to summon people and want to play with your friends or anything. I will say that if you're summoning like really over-leveled people, the only thing that is really doing is taking away from your experience. It's understandable if you need that help to get rid of a boss or kill a boss. I feel like you shouldn't feel shame summoning those people if you really want to get past something, you know, you've been there for hours. But I guess the point of these games is the struggle, and like finding a balance between struggling and finally overcoming something that you've been really working towards. Just a couple days ago, it took me 99 attempts to kill a boss. And the joy I felt after killing the boss was way beyond what I would have felt if, let's just say, I went in there and two-shot the boss with the most overpowered build. It easily wouldn't have even been within the same realm of excitement, especially if it was my first time fighting a specific boss. Now, if it was New Game +3 and I fought that boss 4 times already and I go in there and destroy them, I'd be like, yeah, this build's awesome. But I see that a lot of people are summoning these really over-leveled phantoms for like their very first playthrough. And these are the same people who are going to be like, Elden Ring was too easy, it should have been way harder. The exact same people. But I guess that's more PvE related. But PvP at certain soul levels has been really fun for me, to be honest. It's been a nice change of pace from Dark Souls 3. I think this game has potential to be great. I haven't even talked about like dueling and duels because I haven't personally done any myself. There's like, you know, all these a bunch of different talks about meta and which meta should be soul level or which soul level should be meta. I guess it's rune level in this game, right? I keep getting confused all the time. Which rune level should be meta when it comes to invasions or duels? I would say when it comes to invasions, we need to give it a little bit so that things kind of get balanced out once a couple different patches drop and fix a couple of the weapons and builds and tune some stuff. I feel like we'll be able to find more of an invasion meta. But at the moment, I'm thinking it's probably going to be a little bit somewhere in the middle that we saw for like Dark Souls 3, which the Dark Souls 3 meta was about soul level 120 to 140. I think in this game, we're probably going to see somewhere like soul level 80 to 100. Is most likely going to be the meta, because I think that's going to give you the biggest ranges, the most fun invasions as well, the most like natural invasions of invading like people going through the game with their friends rather than people standing in one spot ganking, specifically wanting to get invaded so that they can kill you with their 3 friends all using endgame weapons. When it comes to dueling, I've been hearing 150, and to be honest, I like it. I like the 150 meta for duels. I'm for sure going to end up trying out duels with viewers on Twitch one of these days and really kind of jumping into that and seeing how it actually is. You know, is it going to be the same as Invasions where we're basically going to see the same 2 weapons over and over? Maybe. And for sure, once the DLCs come out, which, I mean, you just know this game's going to get DLCs, they will most likely end up bringing a PvP arena. We already see a couple of things that are like Coliseums, especially the place with the big jar. I feel like that right there is going to be where the PvP arena is. So we'll really have to wait to see when that happens and when that comes out. I would fucking love like a tournament style PvP arena where you can do duels and just kind of skirmish, and even like what they had with Dark Souls 3 where you have the medallions where the higher rank you are, you know, stuff like that. So you're basically only getting matched up with other gold players if you're gold, some type of ranking system to kind of balance things out, you know, that'd be great. But like a straight up tournament where you have to climb a ladder, fight each other, you win, you move on, the other guy loses, you move on, you know, until there's 1-on-1 right at the end, and then, I don't know, you get some type of special prize. That'd be fucking cool. I would love to see that, and quite possibly we might end up seeing that for the DLCs. I don't know, it's just a cool idea that I had that I think a lot of people want to see. But man, I would love to hear you guys' opinions of how PvP is so far in Elden Ring. What do you guys think about it? You know, do you guys think that the game's gonna live? Because I think it's got legs to run, you guys. I think it's got legs to stand on its own. I would say go a long way and probably last quite a while. But definitely let me know what you guys think. Leave it in the comments. And again, if you guys want to come watch on Twitch, or even, you know, in the future, do some invasions with me or do some duels with me, the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you made it this far, a like is very much appreciated. Thank you so much if you leave one. Subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you guys again. Have a good day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.